Creepy things happen before the grave.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, so I want to record this quickly while this movie's still fresh in my mind. I literally just got home from watching it. The movie It Comes at Night was produced by A24 Films. A24 is the same company that has brought you Swiss Army Man, The Witch, and The Black Coat's Daughter. Now for me, the movie The Witch should have been a good indication that I really wasn't going to like this movie, as The Witch was also presented as a horror movie and it was not. It Comes at Night is presented as a horror movie, almost like a horror zombie movie. It is not that at all. So if you're expecting a good scare, I would say save your money. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a bad film, it's just not a horror film. The movie centers around a family, including Paul the father, played by Joel Edgerton, the wife, Sarah, played by Carmen Ejogo, and the son, Travis, played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. Now, when the movie starts, there is another character, which is the grandfather, played by David Pendleton. The grandfather is sick, and we see him with these symptoms: black hands, boils all over his body, and apparently the disease also makes you throw up black blood. So early on, we do learn that there is some sort of virus or infection. It's highly contagious, and people are afraid of it. Now, whether this virus turns you into a zombie or not is never really explained, because anyone in the movie that becomes sick is killed off instantly. But there are a few hints that there might be an after effect of some sort of violence, as the family is deathly afraid of anything in the woods. But could this be a zombie, or are they just afraid of other rioters or people coming to steal the goods that they have? As it is also hinted at that supplies of food and water have grown very low. In this movie, it is presumed that Paul and his family are the good guys. They're just a family trying to do their best during the apocalypse. I also at first thought this movie was about Paul, but I don't think it is at all. I actually think the movie is about the son, Travis. Further on the movie, we meet another character, Will, who tries to break into the family's home looking for supplies. Will then tells them that he was only doing this to protect his family, his wife, and his son. At first, Paul doesn't want to believe them, and they really don't want to trust Will. But against his better judgment, Paul decides to help Will, and they go and get his family. They decide to join forces, as Will's family actually has food, they just don't have any water. Paul's family has water, just very little food. Now, it would seem that the families are getting along. Mostly Travis. Travis is happy to have new people, as he's only been surrounded by his mother and father since this outbreak took place. But as we go on to see, as the tension builds between the two families, it starts to show that no one's really the good guy here. In fact, everyone's pretty much bad, and I don't think they started off bad, but because of circumstances and fear and paranoia, it's just turned them into terrible people. The only good guy persona I would say in this film would be the son, Travis. Partly because he's been protected by his father, he still has a lot of his humanity left, and he cares about this new family. He also wants freedom from that house, but he knows he can't have it. 1, because it's not safe, 2, because of his father, and 3, because of his own fears. In fact, this idea of Travis being the good guy is illuminated by the fact that Travis is always seen with a lantern. Whatever room Travis is in is always brightly lit, and Travis's face is always brightly lit. In fact, when Travis is with other characters, they also become well lit as well. When Travis isn't in the room, other characters are lit, but never as bright as Travis. The only time when the light really fades from Travis is when he falls asleep. Travis has very vivid dreams, mostly about his grandfather in the end stages of the disease, which kind of does make the grandfather look like a zombie, but he never attacks Travis. It could also mean that not so much that the disease turns you into a zombie, but it's Travis's own fear of the disease personified in some sort of zombie-like creature. Another big symbol in this movie is the red door. The red door is the only way in or out of the cabin. and Paul the father is the only one that has the key. No one may go in or out of the door without Paul's permission, and no one can go outside by themselves. Now, the title of the movie, It Comes at Night, is a little misleading. I assumed that this disease turned you into something similar to the movie I Am Legend, where the sun must hurt the infected people and they can only attack at night. This is not true. I think it's more so the family and the father's fear of being outside at night because of whatever looming dangers might be in the dark. But danger is pending day or night, and both families are constantly on the alert. Now, the idea that there is still a possible zombie apocalypse is personified when Travis's dog goes out into the woods chasing something. Both families become very fearful of what's out there, and then the dog just disappears. Travis says he hears something, but we never see it, so it's hard to say if it is the zombies or not, but I think you're supposed to be left feeling that way. The acting is okay in this movie, but I think it's more the cinematography and the music what builds the tension between the characters. This tension kept building and building, and I kept expecting to have some sort of horrific climax where zombies do jump out of the woods and a big horde comes and attacks this house and these families, but that didn't happen. There was a climax, but if anything, it was just a sad one. If you want to look at it another way, this movie does have a happy ending, as in the last shot we see Travis going through the open red door into the darkness, but it doesn't symbolize darkness, it symbolizes freedom for Travis at least. Another big symbol is the red door. In a way, I feel like the red door represents the heart of Paul, the heart of his family. He keeps it closed with his family inside, and when he does decide to open it, it ultimately feels happy, but then has a tragic end, which causes him to close it once again, and this time probably never to open it again. The door can also represent a prison for Travis. He's 17, he should be going off to college, meeting girls, living his life, but yet he's stuck behind this red door, almost taunting him whenever he looks upon it. The movie runtime was 1 hour and 31 minutes, and because of how things were moving, I kind of already knew that nothing scary was going to happen. But I will say, the movie is beautifully shot, and I appreciate the fact that I could see everything. Even though a lot of the movie does revolve around darkness, I hate when movies play on darkness as part of a fear tactic to create horror. This movie doesn't do this. The darkness is just a circumstance, but it's how it's lit and how it's shot, which actually kind of makes it a good movie. I hope I didn't confuse you guys too much. I wanted to give my perspective on the movie without giving too many spoilers. So, anyway, thank you for listening.